Darren. Go on by.
Welcome everybody to the Broken Wing Racing League. We're here at the Nordschleife here for the GT3 race. We got a lot of entries for this race, and right now we're just starting qualifying. So we'll be going on board with a couple of these drivers to see who's out there on a lap. I think we're going to be taking a look at Nicholas Matcham at the moment, who's car number 68. It's like he's out there on a lap. Well, he's actually out of his out lap, so we're going to transition over to another driver here to take a look and see who's running for something. As we have David Flanagan, car number 17, out there on a push lap. Let's see what he can do. It's 30 minutes of qualifying, and then on to a 45-minute race. So, qualifying just started, and apologies for the difficulties on getting us up to speed here, but minor technical difficulties, but we're back on track. We're taking a look at David Flanagan here and seeing what he's capable of doing. And why not just go for an onboard, see how he's actually taking these corners. Heard a lot of speed in at that exit there. And I'm hazard a guess here that we have Timothy Bree, who's in P1 right now with Andrew Pickle in P2, David Flanagan P3. Tyler Tier P4, you can see the header at the top. That is going to be the standings. It's a little slow, and that's on purpose. There's a lot of drivers, so take that into account. I think we have over 30 that are going to be participating in this race. And it looks like Tyler Tier is on his out lap, as well as Teague Ashburn, who's sitting in P5. I think those are just initial standings based on when qualifying just started, because I doubt anyone's actually put in a time, but if they have put in a time, that'll be mighty impressive. Take a look at those results as soon as we get to see how David Flanagan fares on this lap that he's pushing for as he goes to the carousel. And it looks like a lot of variation in the car manufacturers we have there. We have McLaren, some Audis, BMWs, Lamborghinis, as well as Porsche, who we're on board with right now. Ferraris. I think the Ferrari is going to be a favorite. It's a very stable car. No setups to speak of from this season, as they have changed the tire model. So it looks like all those Ferrari drivers are going to be having to kind of meddle through their own setups and try to get something that works for them. I heard a couple of the drivers, David is off a little bit. I don't know if that's going to hurt his chances on possibly track limits there, but we'll stay on board and see if we can't keep it together. And look at that, we have A. Dorman. That's a Mercedes sitting there. It's the first one I've seen on the lineup so far.
Cool,
so
no
we have
problem.
33 drivers total in this race. Most people are out on their out laps right now. I'll say about the majority of the grid, minus 5 or 6 drivers are actually out there on a push lap. David Flanagan is one of them. Andrew Pickrell, the driver that's sitting in P2, is just ahead of him, I believe. And if you're looking at the top there, that is the gap, the interval gap from driver to driver, not the overall gap to P1. See a driver off in the distance there. Let's see if David can't beat his last time. He was able to put one in. We did start slightly late by a couple of minutes, but I don't think that was outside of the realm of maybe a driver is out there to go to get something done. I think we're going to be looking at times of 6:35s or 6:40s. And that would be lap 1. Let's take a look here. He did a 6:43, and Ray Frias did a 6:35 going down the lineup. Nobody has actually set a qualifying time yet, so I think we're finally going to be seeing some push laps. Let's go on board with Ray Frias here. Was actually set a practice time of a 6:35 with one other driver, Alex Carver, with a 6:35.3.
Thank you, Tyler.
And Matt Shack. I'm sure he'll tell me after the stream is over, but we got Matt Shake Shack with a 6:35.6. So only 3 drivers from practice can we see that have had a significant boost in their time, whereas the other drivers are going to be sitting in the 6:40s, where, you know, that's kind of in the realm of where people are supposed to be here. They haven't given themselves enough time to practice, but I think I have a little bit of the inside scoop that Ray Frias has been
Cody, go by me.
trying a little bit more than quite necessary to practice. He's been practicing all week for this, so Ray Frias is definitely going to try to put on a show here for the fans. You can take a look at his livery for the Tracklicious Sim Racing there, kind of 838. See how he's going to be able to push through these corners.
Sorry to do that, Matt. I hope I didn't get in your way there.
Got several drivers still in the pits. Majority of the drivers still on an out lap.
Noah, are you on a push lap?
I am, sir.
I'll get out of your way.
That's it.
And then that right there is the type of sportsmanship you'd see on Broken Wing Racing League. Drivers getting out of the way for other drivers who are on push laps. That isn't the case in all leagues, but, you know, in qualifying in general. It's nice to see that people are that respectful on track. As Ray Frias crosses the line, let's see what he's going to be able to do with that time. There's no qualifying time set as of yet. That part, it's a little perplexing. The second lap that he went to do, so Miss got himself an off track.
Give me a heads up and I'll get out of your way.
Definitely could be the case, especially here at the Nordschleife. It just takes one, and so you really just have to keep it together. It's definitely worth trying to be a little bit more cautious, get that safe, slow, decent paced lap out of the way, get it on the board, so you can at least say that you're not going to be starting at the back of the grid, but somewhere in a safe middle ground. And then when you finally get that banker lap, then go for your push lap, the one that you're really focusing on, the one that you're definitely trying your best, and the one you're going to put your car just on the bleeding edge, but not too much over. And it looks like Ray Frias, this being his push lap, is now involved with another driver, Sean McGinnis, who is just ahead of him by 4/10. If Sean is also on his push lap, he is now just compromising himself in that
I'll let you
manner.
through.
If, oh, and it looks like he's not on his push lap. Whoa! And that, folks, that was definitely not what you wanted to see. Take a better angle at that. And I think the words were, "I'll let you through." Looks like he's about to give it right there. Yikes. Not much you can do there.
Thank you.
Go inside.
I think Ray's gonna have to take another lap at that. We'll jump over to David Gauntlet. Let's see what he's doing. Car number 2. Oh, let's see. Well, you know what? We got some people on the board. Finally. We'll take a look. Oh. David has just gone off and into the wall, into the barrier there, and looks like he's going to trot that thing along to keep it going. Doesn't look like too much damage occurred right there. So I guess we'll see him go for that as Cody Wasson goes third fastest in this qualifying session. We got Trey Mistak, who is
Wait till you see this one, Carver.
P1 right now with the 641.2. Andrew Burr with
What?
the 141.8. Now P3. David Flanagan
This is a bit of a quick lap. I mean, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
was
I'm going under Bilstein Bridge right now.
who I thought was already on a fast one. Sorry, apologies. Radios are going off there. But David Flanagan with the 639.6. That's a full 10 seconds faster than his practice lap, than his practice session laps, which means this guy has a lot to show, and I definitely think we're going to see that in the race itself. We got Cody Wasson with a 643.4. Yolgun Bradka with a 646.1. And then Matthew Wyckoff with a 653.1. Wyatt Roberts goes fastest with a 638.1. And since the driver's already on a lap, why don't we just take a look at what's happening with the BMW driver who is taking this to pole position. And you can hope he stays this way. He's going to be going, it's already on another lap for it, but will anyone topple him at this moment in time? We got Jim Bedson, who just comes through with a nice lap there. That's a P8 for him. He's got a 646.6. It's a lot of sixes. P8 for him. He's just ahead of Matthew Wyckoff, who's in P9. And I'm not sure if I've even said it, but Tyler Tier, he's a fast boy. He just did a 639.7. We're definitely going to be seeing more drivers in the top 3 that I was looking at in practice that have set times in the 630s. As we have Andrew Korostecki with a 649.1. That is now 10 drivers who have crossed the line and have had valid laps, as well as a couple drivers who have had significantly fast-paced laps. And, you know, honestly, I don't feel like any of these guys are trying to do a banker lap right now. I think that was just straight up as fast as they possibly could go at this moment in time. We still got 33 drivers on track. And, you know, 2/3 of them haven't put in a lap. Always got to put that banker lap in. Definitely got to put that banker lap in. It is, it's key. Oh. And I believe that kind of takes the cake for Wyatt's chances on this lap. But we'll get back to him. See if we here. Oh, look at this. We got car number 44, Noah Hoskinson. I hope I said that right. He is out there on a push lap. Let's see if he can't put together a good fast-paced time, something that could be in contention with the top 10. At this moment in time, all you have to do is be a 6:49 to put yourself in the top 10. If you want to put yourself in the top 5, definitely go for the 6:30s. As we have those times still set on the board. No one's dropped Wyatt Roberts from P1 just yet. Dave Flanagan's still P2 and Tyler Tier P3.
Hey Zach, I'm on a hot lap. Thanks.
Yeah, I got you.
There is something really nice about the Lamborghini Huracan, or the Huracan as it is. The GT3 car is just really, it's got that really nice wheel. I like the flow of this car. Camera's not in a bad spot. You know, you got your fan just putting right in the helmet. I mean, you know it gets hot in there. He's got his gloves on. He's pushing. He's going up the mountain right now.
Passing me on the left.
And we got some gentleman drivers letting you know where to pass them. Being respectful, as always. That's something you'll definitely see here. Qualifying is 9 minutes to the end of this 30-minute qualifying session. We still only have about, 14 drivers now have put in valid laps. We got Teague Ashburn with a 6:37.2. beating out Wyatt Roberts and David Flanagan for that P1 position.
Sure.
Cody Wassam puts in another good lap, putting himself at P5 with a 6:40.6. We have Timothy Bray with a 6:42, Joshua Grosso with a 6:42.4, just separated by 1/100th of a second. That's pretty wild stakes there.
I appreciate that.
I think Andrew Burr might have already been here, but we have Wiley Cox with a 6:47.7, and then the other two drivers in P13 and 14 have already been spoken for. They've crossed the line and made a banger lap in, so banker. One said the other. I believe that is the second carousel. It's been a while since I've been on the Nordschleife myself, but we'll definitely see where he's coming out here. It's right there at the top. Doesn't got too much farther to go before he's going to finally solidify this time. We can see on the dash that he's got a 6:06 right now, and he's still pushing. Got about 30 seconds left, maybe 20 seconds. Who knows where he's going to actually pull out on this lap here. We could be seeing a P1 position, P5, P10. We won't know until he crosses the line. but he is getting closer. We're in the 30s. It's a few more corners before this is going to end, and we'll definitely see where he fares. And that is a 6:43.9, securing Noah Hoskinson a P10. Hopefully he can keep that time. We won't know for sure until after this qualifying ends here. Just pick a driver, any driver. We got Eric Miller, who hasn't actually set a valid lap just yet. With only 6 minutes to go, nobody could be making mistakes here. They just need to set a time. Out of the 33 drivers that are sitting on the track right now, we only have about half of them that have actually made a lap. Now we're getting another one. David Gauntlet goes across the line. He gets a 7:06. Maybe a time that isn't impressive, but setting a lap is what really matters if you don't want to be sitting at the bottom of the grid at the start of this race with not even a valid lap completed. Teague Ashburn has not been overtaken from the P1 spot just yet. Tyler Tier. Oh, as I say that, Matt Shake Shack, I wish I knew his last name, just pulls out the best time with a 6:36.2. And just to give him a little congratulations, provisional pole for Matt Shake Shack Attack. I don't know his last name. I'm just thinking it's one or the other, and I can't be faulted. This man has just put in a P1 position provisionally. It doesn't look like there's a lot of other drivers on track that might be able to overtake him for this spot. So that might just go to him directly. We'll hop back on with Eric Miller, who is definitely still on a valid lap, but has not put one in at all. So we got Matt P1, Teague Ashburn P2. Oh my God! Alex Carver! And we're going to go straight to that driver. Alex Carver just put it in a 6:35.3, the fastest we've seen just yet. That is a full second faster than Matt Shake. Matt Shack. P3 is Teague Ashburn. Tyler Tier with a P4. Wyatt Roberts still in P5. David Flanagan P6. Dropped down a little bit. And then we have Cody Wasson P7. Hasn't improved upon his time. Looks like he's not going to even try to go for that. We have Trey Mistak still P8. Andrew Burr P9. Timothy Bray goes faster with a P7 finish with a 6:40.2. Goes faster than Wasson. Goes faster than Trey. We got Kyle Aiken with a 6:45 and Andrew Pickerel with a 6:45, going P13, P14 for those drivers, just behind Noah Hoskinson. We have I think as far as it goes, we have the drivers on the lineup already, and they all have put in the times. I should go back to Eric Miller here. A driver who has not set a time. We have 3 minutes left to go in this session, and it really comes down to him just setting a valid lap. As it stands, folks, we have positions out to P20, and the driver who is in P20 only set a 7:06. So roughly stay on track. Is going to get you positions well above, not having one at all. I mean, it's just going to be set to where the drivers are at based on, I believe, their number or their skill. If they don't set a valid lap. But Eric Miller sitting P21 right now, not having set a time. Darren Rutherford, Sean McInnes, Tyler Anderson, Ray Frias, Craig Carroll, Steve McAllister, Nicholas Matcham, Zachary Bryant, Andrew Dorman, all sitting there with no time on the board, as that fast Corvette lover starting P5, Wyatt Roberts, was positioned. He was provisional pole at one point. He did get knocked down by several drivers ahead of him, but anything can happen in a race, and it really just comes down to consistency, especially at the Nordschleife. All these walls all these corners. Some of them blind, some of them sweeping, fast, slow. It's definitely going to be best to just maintain some consistency, as we have Eric Miller here still putting in a time and pushing in that Ferrari. And if I had to say, it looks like we have a really good mix of car manufacturers here so far. We have a lot of Audis, a lot of Ferraris, a lot of Porsches, good amount of Lamborghinis. The ones that I would say are kind of in the realm of you don't see them too often is those Mercedes, those BMWs. Not a lot of drivers have picked that car, so they must be aware of something these other drivers are not aware of, or maybe it's just the only car they decided to buy. But it looks to me there's a good favoritism towards the Lamborghini or the Ferraris at this track so far. No other driver at this moment in time has crossed the line with an improved time. It looks to be that most people are just setting that one lap, hoping for that to be it. You did see on I believe it was a Lamborghini that the dashboard actually worked, but in the Ferrari, I guess this electronics aren't as sophisticated, because the time on that thing isn't actually populating for us. But it did do that, however, on the Lamborghini. Should definitely call tech support on that one. But he is definitely about to cross the line. Gonna be seeing where Eric Miller ends up. Through the final corner and on the penultimate straight, we have Eric Miller crossing the line, and he goes P14 with a 645.3. And that is going to be it for this driver. Try to go and see if anyone else is on track. And we have eight minutes left on qualifying. I could have... No, it's over. Qualifying is over. It should be over. Qualifying is over, but I think it's allowing a couple of the drivers, based on the settings in the server, it could be that they are allowing drivers to finish their final lap. And we have Trey Mistack down the straightaway, close to ending his lap. 6 minutes on the board. Trey is P9 at the moment. He had a 641.2. He can improve upon that. Still in the top 10. Just going for that better standing is what every driver wants to do, no matter what. We're seeing it right here. As it looks like most drivers have opted to the pits. And he crosses the line with a 640, putting Trey at P7 over P9. He has improved 2 positions. And take a look at Andrew Pickrell. Another Ferrari with a broken HUD, or dash. To see what he's about to do. He is about to cross the line. He was down the straightaway just behind Trey Mistack. I believe that is the right. There's no E, so it can't be a mistake. We are looking at the standings here. I don't believe we see another driver who's actually put in another... actually, no. Andrew Dorman goes P18 with a 646.5. So he was able to make a time happen for himself. And Andrew Pickrell goes with a 6:45.3. Doesn't improve upon his time. Unfortunately, he is sitting right there in the same position. I believe he and somebody definitely could be making something happen here as Tyler Anderson is sitting P20 with a 6:46.7. And if you're just joining us, we're almost done with qualifying. We're just waiting on a few drivers left. There is 7 drivers still out on a lap, while everyone else has opted to put it in the pits and wait for this to end. Qualifying will definitely end on its own in about 5 minutes and 30 seconds if these drivers have not crossed the line. But with that said, Tyler Anderson's at the top of the hill right now, and he's got about 35, maybe a full minute left before he's able to possibly get somewhere faster than where he was. Right now, it's about a full minute. He's got a 5:46. He did a 6:46 crossing the line. So if he could even edge out, I would say a few tenths, he's still going to push himself above the rest, putting himself from P20 to P15 with just that little bit of a margin. That's what he's looking forward to as he's about to push for that final corner. Down to make sure he goes. And only about 10 drivers did not actually make a time. Whoa! And while there was a little mishap at the final corner for Tyler Anderson, it was enough to put him in P14. That much faster than his competitors within that small margin of a gap from P14 to P20. And we are all set there. As we now go on board, I'm gonna ignore the fact that everyone's floating in those grandstands. Don't think there's a good way to look at that. Yeah, that we'll just stay with this one right there for now. We have going across the board here for the leaderboard. As you can see, it's a little bit slower, but I'll just go over it in the results. We have Matt, Alex Carver P2, Teague Ashburn P3, Tyler Tier 4th, Wyatt Roberts 5th, Flanagan 6th, Trey 7th, Timothy Bray 8, Cody Wassam 9, Andrew Bird 10, Joshua Grosso 11, Wiley Cox 12, Noah Hoshkinson P13, Tyler Anderson 14, Eric Miller 15, Andrew Pickrell 16, Kyle Aiken 17, Yalgun Badrak P18, Andrew Dorman P19, Jim Bedson P20, Matthew Wyckoff 21, Andrew Korostecki P22, David Gauntlet P23. Set one of the slowest times, but it doesn't matter. He's still above the drivers that did not set a time at all. And that sometimes can be all you need, is just having a good
Well, I just
Baker
looked
lap.
through every single person
Nicholas
on the results
Matcham
list.
is in
It didn't look like anybody was on the track.
P24.
You
Sean
got 4
McInnes
minutes. We sit around here and,
in
you know,
P25.
I'm
Scott
rooting for you.
Neiman
Totally.
in P26.
Maybe someone's peeing.
And Zachary Hinterhoff at P27, Ray Fries
I wear adult
P28,
diapers first,
Zachary
like a
Bryant
real driver,
P29, Steve McAllister P20, P30, Brad Bedson P31, Craig Carroll P32, and David Rutherford in P33. That is the lineup, folks. Let's see if any of these drivers are actually on board. Not a whole lot of them, apparently. we'll just go to one that we know is there. It looks like Tyler Tier's ready to race, as well as this Audi ahead of him. And maybe it's true. Yeah, P4 and P18. That's how far down the lineup goes, because we have that little drivers that are actually on track right now. And Wyatt Roberts in P5. Looks like he's leading the pack because no one else has jumped to the grid. This is a 45-minute race. Got about a minute left before everyone has to jump onto the track there. I believe this is a standing start. I have to look and see real quick. And does not say. But it looks like we have 20 minutes. Oh. You know, they are in Germany, so the grandstands could be invisible for, you know. About to start this race, though, and I think it's going to be a standing start. Take a look at a second here. We got the pace car.
Full course out lap, please.
And here we go. We got a minute and 20 seconds left before this race will finally start. Standing start. Just going to go through some of these drivers to get to a pretty good step. It looks like driver 61. That's Tyler Tier and Matt. No, Alex Carver and Tyler Tier. Looks like they're teammates. They're using the same livery. If they're teammates, I don't know what the team name is called.
Yep, it's all good.
But if that's the case, they got themselves a big advantage.
No, it isn't. Take him out.
Some of the other drivers on track, but we can see some of the few other drivers that have some similar liveries. You got the Tracklicious Sim Racing crew. That was Andrew Pickrell. Cody Wassam. And Joshua Grosso. Noah Hodgkinson, Tyler Anderson, Eric Miller, and
Serial offenders.
56 is
Very
Andrew
nice.
Pickrell, and Kyle Aiken in 17. Yalgun Badarak.
Who is on?
Standing start or rolling start? I believe it's a standing start.
Who's on serial offenders team? Somebody just mentioned it.
Yeah, because
That's myself and Sean McKenna.
I've never seen it. I'm looking at the rear wing of your car. It says serial offenders. I thought it was cool.
It's a rolling start.
We are accepting sponsorships.
Do you know a Nick Matthews or Sean Roberts?
Nope.
Okay, never mind then.
I don't know a lot of people. My mom doesn't let me talk to many.
Sounds like a couple of jokers in the lobby here. Matthew Shake Shack, car number 16. That Aston Martin Green leading the pack in P1 with a very impressive lap to boot. It's got a team of drivers of Alex Carver and Tyler Tier that he's going to have to contend with. We're about to go green, though. And so far, it's clean. A couple of teammates of Brad and Jim Bedson here as we go down the lineup. With Matt Shack in the lead, P1, with Alex Carver in P2, Teague Ashburn still holding his P3 with Tyler Tier in P4. So no big moves have happened just yet from the top of the grid here. We have a couple of drivers that are definitely closer than others. That group of cars led by Timothy Bray with Cody Wassam, Joshua Grosso, and Andrew Burr behind, with another car trailing. That is a little train that has been forming here, as they are only mere tenths off of each other. And nothing happening just yet. Oh! We have a few drivers off, and that is
Okay,
Teague
go find
Ashburn and Tyler Tier.
Thanks.
Let's just take a quick look and see what happened here. And a little bit of glass slippage. The grass is just like ice. And there it goes. Two competitors, top 3 and 4. Looks like they might be out of it. Who knows? But that is definitely not how you want to see the start of the race for them. And then you have Ray Frias, who didn't start the race or is not in the race at this moment in time.
Andrew, you want to go by? Go left, Andrew.
And we get a driver going for it.
No
It's
problem.
just a little bit of grass there. But that is Cody Wassam in P9. Definitely looked like he wanted to make a move. Get a view of him in just a second. And you can see that rear cameras. Joshua Grosso is really pushing. He is taking P10 from Andrew Burr. Oh! And it looks like they have made contact. And that car is sweeping there. They go side to side, wheel to wheel. A lot of these drivers are going for it. And Cody Wassam is able to maintain that
Yeah, go
overtake
left.
and
Go
continue
left.
pushing.
Go left, Jim.
And we'll drop back down to Timothy Bray, who was definitely just overtaken there. Has Andrew Burr and Joshua Grosso, who have switched back positions. Oh! As Cody Wassam has dropped back. Oh, and he has some significant wheel damage, and his car is not good. It is not in a good space. As we have just a minute here. We had several drivers sitting in the pits, so making the right adjustments sometimes is a little difficult there. As we can see, we're on with Josh Grosso, who's still sitting in this midfield battle. P10, P11, P12, all fighting for position. That is Andrew Burr alongside Timothy Bray sitting in P9. Overtakes him for that position. But it is a long straight. Anything can happen. Joshua Grosso that's sitting there in the background. This looks like he's trying to go for the scraps. And down the outside he goes. Into the turn. He overtakes Timothy Bray with some great skillmanship there. And it looks like Noah Hodgkinson is going to try to do the same as they
Jim,
go
is your
through.
car all banged up?
We have 5 cars off
No,
into the pit
don't
lane.
think so.
So lap 1, definitely some stuff happening there. Oh, and that's Timothy Bray overtaking Joshua Grosso again. And now that this has been, the shakeup has finally happened,
You got this corner.
we have
Okay.
we have a better sense of what the lineup looks like. That's Timothy Bray sitting in P8, P7, Joshua Grosso P8, and Noah Hodgkinson P9. As they are been scrapping for quite some time. And thank you, Matt R21 for following, Rick Doddingpool for following, Teague Races, Teague Ashburn. I believe you're in this race, but something must have happened because I don't see you on the leaderboards right now. Sitting P23 a lap down. Oh, something did happen. Yikes. Yes, that was you, P3. It's the other. That was the grass is glass,
Dave, I'm good
and
back
I saw
here, so
you
don't worry
get
about
destroyed. Yeah, it was definitely not the great one there. And thanks for the follow as well. We're just starting up here at Broken Wing Racing League. New stream hosted by myself, and I'm going to be streaming all the GT3 races for the Sundays coming. So please continue to watch. I'm sure the other guys would like that. Oh, and it looks like Timothy Bray has been feeling all sorts of sweat dripping down from him right now as he has 2 drivers just pushing and pushing on the attack. He's had little to do in that regard. He's been defending, hasn't really been able to push away. Andrew Burr was able to get a little, a couple tenths out of that from the last couple of corners. He's definitely kind of pulling away from this little battle here. And then behind is Eric Miller in P10, definitely going to try to make some moves here, but he's got a little bit of ways to go. And we're going to drop down the lineup just a little bit to see where some other ones are at. Oh, and it looks like he needed to save that. And boom, Tyler Anderson just gets overtaken by Kyle Aiken for P12. That was quick. I think it's actually P11. And Kyle Aiken is blasting through the pack here. I think his livery is taking him to the stars, folks. That was a quick and decisive move by Kyle Aiken on Tyler Anderson. What an impressively, if you blinked, you missed it. Because that's how quick that was. And we have Andrew Pickerel about 4 tenths behind and P14 on Tyler Anderson. And going down the lineup, we have Darren Rutherford here. Take a little blimp tour for this. P15 for Darren Rutherford. P16 for David Gauntlet here. Craig Carroll in 17th. Already making up a bunch of positions as he started towards the end. Oh, and we have a driver who is off, and that is David Gauntlet. That's not really an overtake, but he definitely made that move. Andrew Dorman in P19 and Sean McInnes. Actually, that was P18 and Sean McInnes in P19. Looks like he has a little bit of damage to that right rear. That could be affecting overall performance. Jim Benson in P20, Nicholas Matcham in P21, and dropping down like Brad Betson, Zachary Bryant, and Steve McAllister. All these drivers are still on the main lap here. Few already sitting down, or down a lap, if not more. Looks like Zachary Hinterhoff is in P25 on an out lap, as well as Cody Wassam and Tyler Tier and Matthew Wyckoff in P29 and Ray Frias getting back out there on track with P30. And back to our ever impressive Matthew Shake Shack, number 16. And by all means, if that is not truly how your name is pronounced, definitely let me know in the comments.
I got damage, Tyler. You're
There's
definitely
no E, but you know, one would still surmise that it's Shaq, probably Shaq. But Matthew Shack leading off of provisional pole, leading the race with a good margin of 1.8 seconds back. You can't even see the driver. Now you can. Alex Carver in P2, sitting back there for the Driver 61 3D Racing Team. I'm sure there's a real name for that one, but I don't know it at this moment in time. We have Wyatt Roberts in P3, sitting about about 6 seconds back from Alex Carver. So not much is going to be changing for this moment in time. We didn't commentate to curse them at all. But it's a P1 through 3 just sitting there out in front with a good little gap to each other. I'm just going to do that again. We have David Flanagan sitting in P4. Was provisional pole at one point during qualifying, but he's still pushing it. He's only 2.5 seconds away from Wyatt Roberts, with Trey Mistack 1.2 seconds back. And it looks like he's a little bit further now, 2.2 seconds. Guess that was just the case of the corner. But that is Trey Mistack in P5, car number 599. And behind him is Andrew Burr with a 3.1 second gap to P5. Doesn't look like he's going to make anything happen too soon, but you know, it's a long race. Anything can happen. And then we get back to the real action here. Joshua Grosso looks like he's overtaken a few of those drivers since we last saw, with Timothy Bray in P8. Joshua, car number 564 of Joshua sitting at P7. A little bit of a blip there. Whoa! And Timothy Bray just loses a little bit of speed as he hit the grass and is definitely feeling it. And we are going to go on board and look at Team Upstate with Noah Hoskinson right behind him. Car number 44 in that Lamborghini. Almost should be noted. Let's just put it right in there as he goes for it. Oh, he backs out. It looked like he had the speed and the room to make a move, especially after Timothy made that little mistake hitting the grass, slowing himself down. But the only thing Noah was able to do in that moment in time was get a little bit closer. They're separated by 0.2. Down the straight they go. He's going to have all the room to make that overtake stick, and maybe that's something he's planning on doing as they're going up the hill. Oh, little close there. As I'm saying this, still separated by a few tenths, we have Eric Miller, who is 2.7 seconds back in P10. Looks like all he has to do is keep pushing, keep it out of the wall, and once these guys start battling again, he's going to be able to make up that position, get closer, reel in P9 of Noah, and then really go for it. And it looks like Joshua Grosso is slipping slightly as Timothy Bray has now caught up to him, and now this little train is formed again. These drivers have been separated by a few tenths through this entire race, and it looks like that isn't changing anytime soon. Looks like Noah Hodgkinson just went a little bit into the wall there. A narrow scraping. I doubt he's even looking at that. Let's go left suspension here. Just a little bit of damage. Nothing even on the back. I think we're gonna see nothing too crazy out of that. I think he was fairly confident in his abilities to keep it out of the wall, have a mistake happen. But while I was posing that thought earlier, it looks like we see here in the background Eric Miller, who was 3 seconds back, is now only 2.3 seconds back, so he's gained a little bit back. Don't think it's enough, as he is kind of slipping away at this moment in time. He's now back to 3 seconds, but it looked like there's a possibility that he could make a move, you know, by the end of the lap, maybe. And back on board with Joshua Grosso, who was P7, is now P8. Timothy Bray has overtaken him. In the background, you got Noah Hodgkins only about 6/10 behind. Definitely creeping in there. You gotta be feeling the pressure if you're Joshua Grosso. You were P7, you've been overtaken. Timothy Bray, same movement for him. He's also been sitting there battling for the defense, battling for the offense, but now he's sitting there out in front, not having to worry so much as, whoa, as Joshua Grosso goes offline, and that's going to be fairly easy for Noah Hodgkins to pick up the scraps there, and he is right on the back of him, but through the fast, you know, S's there, it's not an easy move to overtake somebody, and definitely not advisable for that matter, but not much you can do to capitalize on that mistake by Joshua. And this would be a good time to see in the background car number 177 of Eric Miller. You'd think he would be still sitting back there, but it's actually dropped back about 4.4 seconds now. And Noah Hodgkinson's right. Try to break the slipstream for a second, but it's not going to be enough. Looks like, Joshua Grosso trying to break that. And looks like there's some damage on the left rear of car number 564. Not able to make anything happen through the straight, but whoa! He's definitely blinking there. It's never really confidence. You don't want to see it happen. There we go. Matthew, we got on board with Matthew Shack, who went into the pits. We got about three-ish laps left of this race, and it looks like we see P1 has dropped into the pits to refuel, something that Alex Carver has not done, and not anyone else for that matter. Every driver has gone a full 4 laps on with the fuel that they did. Matthew Wyckoff goes into the pits. Yeah, but that's going to be very interesting. We're going to be able to see, like, where is some of the other drivers on track. Now remember, this driver was sitting provisional pole and went to the line and pole, but don't feel like he has the same uneasiness having these drivers behind him of Joshua Grosso and Noah Hodgkinson. I mean, his speed is definitely speaking for itself, as his last lap was a 6:34.5. I mean, if that's, don't you know, that was Alex Carver. The last lap for Matthew Shack was a 6:38.3. So he's still relatively faster than Joshua Grosso, who did a 6:44, and Noah Hodgkinson, who did a 6:42. So while these drivers are still sitting behind him for position, don't think he's too keen on looking in his rearview mirror on this one. And although he does have Timothy Bray that he's eventually going to have to try to pass, we'll take a look at some of these drivers ahead to see where exactly P1 is at. We have Andrew Burr in P6 and Trey Mistack in P5. David Flanagan still sitting in P4 or P3 now. Wyatt Roberts also P2, ahead by 5 seconds. So we got a good margin of gap happening here. We have Wyatt Roberts, who's sitting in P2,
on my left.
10 seconds behind Trey Carver. David Flanagan is 5 seconds behind this driver that we're looking at right now.
Joke's on you, I don't have brakes, watch out.
And we have Alex Carver, who just did a 6:34.5 as his last. What an impressive lap. To not only go faster than his qualifying lap, he sets down a better lap in the race and continues to push. I mean, that's a level of commitment there. It's 10 seconds ahead of the driver behind him, 15 seconds behind ahead of P2 or P3. P4 is 22 seconds behind. Now I'm kind of curious as to where these pit times are going to come into. Haven't seen a lot of other drivers go into the pit lane just yet. We've only seen Matt Shack, I hope that's right, go into the pits, as well as David Gauntlet. And that's it. 2 drivers so far have actually tried to go for the pit early strategy, and let's see if that actually works for them. And then we'll bop back to who's in the background here. We have Ray Frias in P27. We've had a few drivers have decided to drop from this race. It's unfortunate. It was definitely some bad luck happening on track for a few of these drivers. Nothing ill intent, I don't think, by any means. So we have Ray Frias sitting in the back of the pack, making his way up forward. Tyler Tier, another driver who was sitting in P4, who's now dropped down to P26. And Cody Wassam, another driver who is in the top 10, mind you, dropping down to P25. pay between P24. Steve McAllister's P23 with a gap of 7 seconds to P22 ahead of him. That's Zachary Bryant in P22. Brad Bedson in P21. He's got a 1 second gap to Nicholas Matcham just ahead of him. I'm sure he's going to try to make go for a move shortly. His teammate Sean McGinnis in P19 and Jim Bedson in P17. Right here we have Andrew Dorman in P16. Just going down the list, people, we have Craig Carroll just ahead of Andrew Dorman, and they are separated by only a second.
Okay, thanks.
So possible they'll start to get racy pretty soon. Craig Carroll's about 24 seconds back from Darren Rutherford, and we'll go on board with him. He's about 60. He's P14, and Andrew Pickrell's ahead of him in P13. Driver for Trackless Sim Racing. Sitting there with a 4.5 second gap to Kyle Aiken.
Eric, I think we're all pitting these laps to just as a heads up.
And doesn't look like he has any damage. Looks like he's just zooming through. Eric Miller with a 0.3 second gap to Tyler Anderson. This is for P10. Tyler Anderson was P11. And it looks like they're going to take this to the start straight finish here, folks. And they are side by side going down the list. Oh, and Tyler Anderson definitely backs out entirely because he slowed way down. Oh, he's getting ready to go into the pits. They both are going into the pits. And honestly, oh, and he hits the wall. The battle of who's going to refuel faster here, and if it's going to matter. Actually, let's pop over here to Trey Mistack. Oh. And that is a great pit strategy right there. It looks like Alex Carver is out on his outlap, and Matt Shack there. Trey Mistack. Getting a lot of ACK names in the leaderboard here. Matt Shack was P1 at the start of this race, dropped down, but after the he decided to pit early, but it didn't matter that he pitted early. Looks like Alex Carver's overcut did the job. He's now ahead of him by 1.3 seconds. So the battle for the lead is definitely going to come down to the wire. They have 2 more laps roughly to go, maybe 3. I think it's 6.9. It's a really odd way to finish this race, but I'm sure they'll definitely show us the white flag. So good move for him, and we're going to be seeing Matt try to make some type of move there. So we have Wyatt Roberts about 9 seconds back from P2 of Matt Shack, and P4. So Wyatt Roberts P3. P4 is David Flanagan, still holding P4 for the majority of this race. Doesn't look like he's had to worry too much about people in front of him, people behind him. He's just keeping consistent. The man has done. David Flanagan's times were a 6:43.2 of last, and his best lap was a 6:38.6. Behind him is Andrew Burr with a 5 second gap to P4. He's sitting here at P5 with Trey Mistack at P6. Definitely looks a little jarring on my own screen here, but that is Trey Mistack in P6. Timothy Bray holding P7 from Joshua Grosso. These two have been battling all the time. Since the start of this race, it looks like they have been very close on pace. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a Narwhal, Joshua Grosso. And his teammate of Noah Hodgkinson, Narwhal Racing Team. I believe those are teammates, so maybe they're not going to be fighting too aggressively. Maybe that's why he never really put the move on him. Oh! Nothing lost at all. If anything, it only gave Eric Miller a little bit of momentum to push forward. He's now only 2.9 seconds back from Noah Hodgkinson. Tyler Anderson sitting there in P11. And if I believe, yeah, Tyler Anderson never was able to make that move on Eric Miller back again. So once they got out of the pits, Eric Miller is now 4.6 seconds ahead of Tyler Anderson with Kyle Aiken. And everybody's out on their outlap besides Matthew Shake Shack. Car number 16, P2 at the moment in time. Kyle Aiken 7 seconds ahead of him to Tyler Anderson for P11. Behind him is Andrew Pickrell in P13, 6.5 seconds back, and that is this driver here. And then behind him, we just go down the leaderboard. But what we got interesting is Craig Carroll and Jim Betson battling it out in P16, 17. I'm sure that will make itself known shortly. I believe it's P15 actually. But if Jim can find the momentum in that BMW, really keep pushing, I think he might actually have something on Craig. Lamborghini versus BMW. I haven't seen any action between the two, but who's to say? Maybe the BMW's faster on the straights. Oh! And that is... It just takes one. It just takes one corner, and all that defending that was possibly going to go down for an interesting battle, it just drops itself down. But I'm sure Craig's going to come back and fight very shortly. And going down the lineup here, I'm just going to be going back to some close driving. No. So it looks like Alex Carver and Matt Shack are still sitting there, P1, P2. Not much is going on in the way of battle. He is about 2.4 seconds back. Maybe he'll try to go on the attack in this next lap or so. I believe they're going to be going across the line one more time before it's for the white flag. And at this point, I'm just gonna see what's happening here, just adjust as necessary. Oh. And that is Timothy Bray getting passed by Noah Hodgkinson nope, that was Joshua Grosso. Apologies, folks. Their cars look alike. They should we just like change up the flare a little bit. But that was Joshua Grosso who went across the line, overtaking Timothy Bray for P7. Been battling all race, these two. Keeping it clean and consistent, which is also very, very nice to see between two competitors. Only separated by 4/10 here. I wonder if Timothy Bray is going to try to make a move against him. We go on board of the Porsche. Definitely has a really good sound there. Definitely really late on the brakes, trying to get his maximum out of that as he still tries to go for
Watch
the
out,
attack.
Go on my right, Ray. I got damage.
Thanks, dude.
Sounds like a couple of drivers are being a little gentlemanly.
All right, Tyler.
And still these two battle. Probably the only two cars on track right now that are actually really close on pace and just holding together this very small margin as they did cross the line. I wonder if some of those, if they're on that white flag just yet. I don't think so. I think it's going to be the next lap around. They'll get the white flag and then push through. Just go to the leader here and see what's happening. It looks like Alex Carver, who was sitting P2 at the start of this race, is now P1 with, in the distance, as you can see, that is Matthew Shack with the 2.9, 3 seconds back now. Definitely fluctuating, but nothing too much is happening between these two drivers. But that is a A+ livery. I like the green. Really, really nice. And then we got P3 of Wyatt Roberts. About 11 seconds back from Matthew Shake Shack. David Flanagan in P4. Let me know if that's not how you say his name. Andrew Burr in P5. About 3.2 seconds back from David Flanagan. Not much has changed in this man's race, but, you know, he's still going strong. Trey Mistack, P6 with Joshua Grosso, about half a second back. Actually, 4/10 back. Joshua Grosso now pushing away from Timothy Bray with a 2.2 second gap from him. That's just a 2 second gap. So that battle that was consistent no longer, as Joshua Grosso's pushing for P6, sitting there in P7 right behind. That's definitely a battle worth watching, as he's about 3/10 off. And while, you know, when there's smoke, there's fire. In this case, it looks like we're just going to be seeing some close racing, but nothing as of yet is happening between these two drivers. But it can still happen. Going through the second carousel. You know, a good move people are making is down that straight, going to the penultimate corner. And we might finally see it. It's definitely within a toe. Moves a little to break it. And within reason, still moving.
Hey Matt, this is your chance, man. Your final lap, bud. But here you are.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. And he goes for the move. And he makes it. Oh. Trey taps the brakes first as Joshua Grosso in car number 564. I'm dyslexic. He finally passes him as well. So that is another car that he is ahead of. Some great positions made up there as Timothy Bray is now sitting 5 seconds back. And Trey Mistak, no mistake there. He is definitely going to continue to push against this driver. Try to make back that position. And I believe that is we're on the final lap here, so I'm actually gonna jump slightly. Take a quick interlude to see where these drivers are at here. We have Andrew Burr in P5 still pushing. Nothing too much is happening there. He's got a good healthy gap from in front of him and behind him, so not much to do. David Flanagan 12 seconds back, sitting in P4, not having really do much. Same thing with Wyatt Roberts here. 12 seconds behind him is David Flanagan. 13 seconds ahead of him is Matthew Shack. 2.3 seconds ahead of him is Alex Carver. And that is P1 and P2 for you right there. Unless, for some reason, one of them just finally loses composure and takes a wall hit. We jump back.
Go.
Trey Mistak, who is 3 tenths back. 4 tenths.
That worked.
I'm a liability to myself, man. I don't want to take anyone else out.
Definitely want to hear that far too often in a race, but there you go. We'll just go straight on board. And the leaderboard switched slightly. It looks like Craig Carroll and Cody Wassam switched positions. Oh! And there you have it, folks. Oh, that was just a little too much. Some, you know, great words from a friend of mine, ambition over adhesion. And there was a little bit too much ambition. Try to get a little too much out of that. And there goes Trey Mistak, retaking P6 from Joshua Grosso, and is going to be settling comfortably a few seconds ahead of Joshua after that that wall hit. You hate to see it, folks, especially on the last lap like that. You know, you just want to be able to just put in some clean, consistent laps. Especially right there. Going through the lineup there, we have Noah Hodgkinson, P9 just ahead, 10 seconds ahead of Eric Miller. Andrew Pickrell behind Eric Miller, and P11, Kyle Aiken in P12. And you can only hope that the stars align for this driver and give him a little bit more out of the car so he can push and overtake Andrew Pickrell, who's only about 1.2 seconds back, so definitely within striking range, but we'll come back to this in case something does happen there. Darren Rutherford in P13, Jim Bedson in P14, Cody Wassam in P16, ahead of Craig Carroll again. So that is interesting. Those two drivers did swap just a few within this lap or before that. We have Tyler Anderson in P17. He's out on his final lap. John McGinnis, P23, and Brad Bedson in P18, Ray Frias in P19. Not a whole lot of room for these drivers to make up some space. And we'll jump back to our P1 and 2 as they are battling it out. And whatever Matthew Shack did, it has made the difference. He was 2.5 seconds back. He is only 1 second back, and he is raising to that under 1 second mark. He's about 1.1 seconds back now, but he's definitely trying to make any move he possibly can as they go through the second carousel. We're at the top of the mountain now. They are going to be going into the final corners very shortly. And now he is only separated by half a second. And he is making the move on the straight as we see Alex Carver weaving. And that is an excessive amount of weaving to break the toe. I don't even know if that's regulation, but he's definitely trying his hardest to make this not happen. Massive amount of weaving still down the straight as Matt Mistak goes for the move. Oh, that is really hard to determine whether or not that was all fair in games, but I'm just a commentator, and that did not look the greatest, but we'll see him pushing down the final corners. I don't believe he's going to be able to make it happen, but boy, did he try. And I believe that is it for these drivers. That is Alex Carver in P1, Matthew Scheck in P2, and that is Wyatt Roberts sitting there in P3. He's about to cross the line. And one of those drivers did not like what was happening on track. David Flanagan coming down to the final corners. He goes across the line.
Good race, but
David Flanagan, P4 for him. Andrew Burr, P5. Yikes, folks. Trey Mistak in P6, overtaking Timothy Bray. Oh, Timothy Bray coming across the line. He's going to be getting P7. Joshua Grosso lost out again. Oh, that is unfortunate. Joshua Grosso P8 after a hard-fought battle. And then we have Noah Hodgkinson in P9. Eric Miller is going to be crossing the line in P10. And somebody's got to remind these people this is a Twitch stream, and some of those words can't be said. But Eric Miller P10, Andrew Pickrell P11. You hope. It looks like he's about to secure that bag, and he's going to go across the line at P11.
Blue flag in front of him. Sorry.
And then Kyle Aiken.
There was a blue flag slowing me down, and then let the other guy catch up.
And P12, Darren Rutherford.
I know. I want him to hear what I'm saying. And then he took me out.
And he looks like Darren Rutherford is about to cross the line at P13.
And I'm not going to protest.
And
by the way.
Jim Bedson going across the line in P14. So it's more than likely he's going to get that P14. So we have Cody Wassam, who overtook Craig Carroll in that last lap, and he's going to be taking home P15 pretty soon. Oh, Craig Carroll is going extremely slow.
Matt, I'm gonna hop in the Discord. I want to talk to you, bro.
Oh no. Oh no. Tyler Anderson is going to be taking home the bag on that P16. It looks like Craig. Oh no. He must not have enough fuel. That is a second carousel. There's no way he's going to be able to make it to the end unless this is a gearbox failure, engine failure. You hope it's something as simple as him going across the line like that. As Sean McInnes is not going to make any room there. Tyler Tier is, though. He's going to be passing Craig Carroll for position. Oh, no. You don't like to see that, folks. It looks like Nicholas Matcham just has to comfortably get through this carousel with Zachary Bryant behind him. We're going to see a few drivers making up positions. Oh, no. As you can finally see, his car is finally done. It is beached. He is taken to the pits. He is going to lose all of those positions against drivers that were on this. And we have David Gauntlet trying to make it out there. That's you only see that in NASCAR, but it looks like this driver's going to be still pushing across the line eventually. That's one way to get across. And Steve McAllister is P24, and he is also still pushing to get across. And that will be it, folks. Zachary Hinterhoff, P27. He's making his way up the mountain there, but that is our race. Thank you for joining us. Just go down the list a little again, and that was Alex Carver, Matthew Shack, and Alex Carver P1, Matthew Shack and P2. Wyatt Roberts 3. Down the list we go. The only thing that was up in contention was we have Wasserman, Cody Wasserman P15, Tyler Anderson in P16, Tyler Tier in 17, Nicholas Matcham in P18, Zachary Bryant 19. Craig Carroll might take that home if Brad Benson isn't able to push across the line. And it looks like he will be the only driver that might be able to overtake Craig for one more position. And it looks like he's trying. I mean, this is... Oh. He's just doing his best. And you gotta commend that. But we'll end it there, folks. And it looks like he's finally parking it. Thank you for joining us, and we will be back for another GT3 race next week. I believe we have Mount Panorama and Sebring, or I think are the last two races of the season. So if you like the stream, follow us. Let us know how we did. And yeah, we'll definitely see you next Sunday. Same time. And if you're not familiar with the Discord, just join the Discord link. There should be one on the stream. But thanks again, and have a good night.